Hi everyone, it's Melissa, your plantita abogada here at Tasteful Nodes. So a couple weeks ago, we celebrated our youngest child's first birthday. Yay! And we had the place decorated, set up nicely, plants everywhere. It was gorgeous. We know we couldn't invite everyone to his first birthday, but we figured we could go ahead and give everybody a tour, show everybody the setup. We had a whole bunch of plants outside. We had food, drink, balloons, everything. But of course, my favorite part of the setup, aside from the birthday boy himself, were the plants. These aren't the only plants that we actually had showcased. So today's episode is going to show you our showcase indoors as well as outdoors. And I'm quite excited to show you what we've been up to. Before we get started, I want to make sure that we go through our 3 disclaimers because I've got some good stuff for you today. 1, KKB tayo, kanya-kanyang bayad. For our Western friends, that means we each pay our own way. I've got some awesome plants here on the table, and I've got lots of plants over there, and I don't want anyone breaking their budget because they see something that they must have. Buy prudently, and don't spend your rent money. I ain't paying any plant child support. Number 2. I'm not an expert, so any information that I do share with you is based on my personal experiences and my growing conditions. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. Now this leads me to my 3rd disclaimer. Find experts in your area. I know you're here watching this video right now, but like I said, I'm not the expert. And if you find people in your area who have dealt with these plants, they could give you ideas as to care, as to media, lighting, water, everything, where you can buy them, how to deal with any problems. They know how to deal with these plants in your area specifically. So I would go ahead and find the experts in your area. If I do refer to any factual information from experts, I'll be sure to put the experts down in the description box or on the screen so you can verify this information yourself. And I think that's it. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Look at these awesome pots. Check these out. So these are actually made of pumice rocks, right? These guys right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pumice is a natural resource here in our area, just because Mount Pinatubo is in our area. A lot of this came from that. Now, what they do is they actually take these stones, they hollow them out. You could reuse the pumice for other things. I mean, we mix pumice with our potting medias, right? And perlite. So it's not a waste of the pumice to hollow it out. Interesting thing, I got them for cacti and succulents. You see these 2 guys right down here at the bottom? Those I got from the event of the Succulent Club Philippines. Yeah, those are their succulents. And they're doing great in these pots. However, for the event, I figured I'd go ahead and put begonias in them because I know begonias don't like being too wet, right? And they're doing fantastic. Oh my goodness, look at all these guys. Yeah, so the begonias are actually from H&C Orchard. He's got fantastic begonias. They make me really happy. They're gorgeous, and I haven't killed them. So that's a plus right there, right? I tested the pumice pots out because I wasn't really sure how they would work. I washed them on the outside because they were still covered with a lot of dust, but I also washed them on the inside and I left the water there. And sure enough, it drains. It's so awesome. It just drains on its own. I mean, it's not as quick as like a sink drain would drain or a pot with lots of drainage holes, but these guys will eventually drain, and that's it. That's it. So they make decorative pieces, but they're also well draining and they will keep your plants happy. If you notice, I have a couple of types of potting media here. So this is my regular potting mix, my regular aroid mix, which I added some more pumice to. But over here, this is interesting stuff. Very interesting. Over here is the cacti and succulent media. And this is from Plant Culture PH. I'm really impressed by it. I have no idea what it is. I mean, so it sounds like a rock. It clearly isn't. It looks like charcoal, but it's not as light as charcoal. And I received a bag of this complimentary from Plant Culture PH, and I did not I did not make any announcements about that, right? Because I don't like giving out recommendations where I don't support the product. And I wanted to be sure that this was a good product to actually get behind, you know, to endorse and to encourage people to get. And I'm getting a couple more bags. I don't have many succulents, but I will be using them for my begonias. I don't understand, but my begonias are doing well. And it's the summer. Our temperatures here in the Philippines have started climbing up into the 90s since last week. We have had barely any rain. And we're supposed to have a drought from now all the way to September. Yeah, it's so rough. But look at how these guys are doing. They are doing quite well. As far as the succulents are concerned, I've got some flowers coming out from this guy. So this media, whatever it is, whatever it contains, is actually really, really good stuff. If you have finicky plants that don't like too much water, I would definitely recommend this mix. And I'll go ahead and put the name on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And if you're in the Philippines, I would definitely recommend it because it's what I'm going to start using for my more picky plants. I can't wait to try using it for aeroid mixes, mixing it in with some aeroid media, unless they have their own aeroid media, and I'll have to check that out too. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and recommend their succulent media because it's excellent. Finally, the last person on the table is this guy, little turtle boy, and this is a variegated jade plant, and this is from Mac Pagsolingan, from Pagsolingan's garden. Such a stunner. In fact, our guests wanted to take some of these guys home, the begonias and this guy specifically. So yeah, I would say that these guys were a success. Now, let's go have a look around at the rest of the place, shall we? So, we had a barbecue, and I don't know, we cooked some stuff, but we also had a barbecue. And this is our barbecue area, clearly right there. And this wasn't that close, but these guys were. And yes, this is our barbecue setup. Check out this guy. A variegated mahogany tree. How gorgeous is that? This is our, gosh, what is it? Tillandsia novakii. And if you notice, he's got a lot of red on him right now. And that's because of the sunlight. When you expose a Tillandsia to light, it tends to stress them out, gives them reds. It's quite gorgeous. And this is something that Plant Daddy made. Check out this piece of driftwood. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And over here, let me move you out of the way a little bit. Over here, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. So we've got some bromeliads, we've got some orchids, another orchid right here. He's not doing too well. Got a little bit of fungus there and some drying, but it looks like he has recovered from that. We have a Nepenthes truncata right here, and we have a little, oh yeah, we have a little pitcher growing right here on my finger. You see this guy right? Zoom in, zoom out. There he is. There's that little pitcher. So we've got a pitcher growing. Yay. We've got another bromeliad right here, which I'm not too familiar with. And up here we've got another Tillandsia, another air plant. This guy is interesting. I don't know if you guys caught this, but this is an orchid. And he was flowering during the colder months. It might be too much heat for him this time around. But the flowers come out here and they're just tiny, tiny little flowers. And it's such a gorgeous, gorgeous orchid. And yeah, let's go have a look at the gazebo area because that's a nice area too. Before we hit up the gazebo area, check this out. So this is our kawa, and that's the what is it called? A walk, a giant walk. So this entire giant walk has been cemented into the ground. Unfortunately, there was a caterpillar that came and ate all of Paolo's Colocasia electric blue. Yeah, completely bald, as in everything was eaten, right? But I still have the variegated black magic right here. Check that guy out. Oh yeah. Yeah, variegated leaves, very cool. Got the colocation teacup. We have a, gosh, help me out here, a Johnstonii, bigger leaf. Biggest leaf is right back here. And we have a mojito, colocation mojito. We have the colocasia, is it colocasia? Alocasia. Schomburgkii. Do you remember? I'll put it at the bottom of the screen when I remember. Who else do we have here? Oh, this guy. He is interesting. We got this guy from Ate Wendy. And if you look over here, come on guys, give him a chance. If you look over here, yeah, this is him. And this is a tree, actually, that prefers marshier conditions. So wet water conditions right down here, as we have, as you can see down here. And this is my poor white lava. It's not doing well here. I'll need to repot. Who else do I have here? I have a tiny Colocasia Pharaoh's mask right here. As you can see, he's got lots of babies too, putting out new growth. It has been really warm, so the water has been going fast in this area. We'll need to keep the water at a stable level, I guess, watering all the time. Check out the variegation on the stem. Just beautiful. Look at that! Beautiful variegated stems on that colocasia. Yes. Anyway, this is the Kawa area. Someplace that we put our water-loving plants. And someday we'll be moving some of those plants out and putting them at our water feature that we have been trying to work on for a year. Anyway, come along. So, pardon the mess. We have a bamboo tree and it's summer, so all of the leaves start falling down and it has to be swept up every day. We celebrated the party here. We had all the food here, tables out there, food where all of these driftwood are now. We've got some new projects coming up, all inspired by Paolo's playing with driftwood and plants lately. In fact, his mom has got into using driftwood in her arrangements. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but these two succulent arrangements on top are hers. So we've got a lot of driftwood play in our future. And let's get past the hanging trampoline. So over here, got a giant bird's nest fern. It's just huge. Thought crossed my mind to put the baby in the middle and have him like take a photo shoot, but I don't want to clean it up. We've got lots of birds, as you can see by the leaves, so we decided not to. But gorgeous, gorgeous fern. Here's one of the glorious that we had in the background. This is, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of this. Do you remember the name of this? He's very thirsty, clearly. We have not watered yet today. A sensation plant. We've got an aluminum plant, a ficus. I know I had this in my ficus episode. A Taneki rubber. Wait, is that the Taneki or that's the ruby? Ruby rubber tree. The Hoya imbricata is right over here. And this guy was behind my chair at the swimming pool area at my previous background. So this is that big guy right there. We have the orange marmalade, who is also in my background. She's now been given a tree, so I want to see her climb and go wild and hopefully produce bigger leaves than she even has. We have a pool on top of our car because the dogs are naughty and tend to get into stuff, so best not to leave it around. This is going to be a rehab project of mine soon. I'll go ahead and post a video of this on the screen, but man, this used to be such a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. This is an epiphytic cactus. We call it Queen of the Night here. Has these beautiful white blooms, gorgeous, but clearly not doing too great. So I think I'm gonna have to do a propagation episode as well as a Oh, it's not a pest. There are actually things underneath that. Yeah. So it's definitely going to have to be a propagation video because it's very, very leggy. Over here, we have an Anthurium plowmanii. We have, it is a plowmanii. No, it's not. Looks like a big bill. It's not a plowmanii because plowmanii are ruffled on the edges. Behind it, anyway, is the Mexicanum that was also in the pool area. Now a big boy. And if you turn around this way, we have some more landscaping that we've done. So this center part right here is my mother-in-law's vegetable garden. So the soil, oddly enough, the soil here on the farm is usually red everywhere, except here. The soil here is black. And we don't know why, but it makes for great vegetables. And we're filming almost at lunchtime, so it's very hot, and that's why all the vegetable leaves are sad. But I promise you, they're not normally this sad. It's just very hot. Goodness. Over here, we have some more plants. Bromeliads. We've got a Diaphanbacchia in the back. We have the large form Monstera. This guy was at the pool area background as well. And it's got a new leaf, and the new leaf is sad. I don't know why it's facing down, but it's sad. And we've got a Glorious right back there. I don't know the name of that plant, that tree back there with all the wrinkly leaves, but it's cool as heck. I planted a little alocasia, variegated alocasia right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you what its mother plant looks like, so you have an idea of why I planted this there. Yeah. Right behind it is an Anthurium Black Beauty. Right here in front, we have, gosh, I don't know the name of this plant, but it's cool as heck. Look at that fan. And we got this from Ballet, a few pieces, and we split them up, put one here directly, well, directly under the tree, but not within direct sunlight, and then another over there, which is completely shaded. This is the Prince Albert, I believe, and we have a little ring of fire right here, right next to him, that, you know, is not doing the greatest, but whatever. We're hoping for the best. Right next to it, we have a Philodendron radiatum, and how gorgeous is that? Hoping he'll climb up here and maybe follow along the tree. Underneath it, gosh, so yeah, irritating as heck. Here's a maximum, Philodendron maximum, that we're also trying to train to climb up. But look at this nonsense. I put a variegated Homalomena under there, and there it is. One. The other one is dying. The other one is dying right down here. So I'm hoping the little bulb will like come back to life. But yeah, whatever. Can't wait for that to make up its mind whether it's gonna die or live. Yeah, so this is a surprise. We've been working on this plant box. We figured instead of a living wall, we'll make a plant box and let the wall be this entire wall right here. We've got a whole bunch of plants. And baby, what do you think this is? Is this goat? Are these goat droppings?
No.
No, you don't think so? Because there's a lot. And I'm wondering if this is our mystery friend who keeps coming over. So at nighttime, we hear something climbing on our roof, and it sounds like it has 4 legs. It sounds like it. But these droppings are not cat, clearly, and they're also not goat. At least they don't appear to be. I mean, similar shape or size, but not similar shape, so go figure. We have a Billetier that we put here, and it's doing well. I'm going to see if I could find a picture of Ate Doreen and Manong Rene Dophitas' Billetier. But theirs is huge and climbing and just gorgeous. Over here, we have a Glorious. Look at that pink and that green, that chartreuse. Just shy little Glorious for now. And then, if you back up, you see it's 2-headed at this point. We've got some ferns on the inside because we're trying to create a little microclimate, right? We have the Philodendron pedatum crucifolium right here. Yep. Down here, interestingly enough, we have, I don't know what happened to this leaf. See, I think something's coming in here. We have a cool selaginella that has been trampled on. This explains why this is broken in 2 pieces. We have a cool fern right back there. It's variegated. Pretty neat. There's this schismatoglotis, what is it, Lord of the Rings? Pretty cool.
There's a flower.
Yes, it does. You're gonna see what that looks like soon. And this is the Soledad, Tomatophyllum Soledad. Gorgeous. And this is a mystery caladium that just decided to pop up out of nowhere. We did not plant that, so it came along with something. And here we go. This used to be a Calathea white fusion. Used to be. Notice, it's no longer white. It's just a fusion. It hasn't made up its mind. This guy, not doing too great. I mean, it was doing great when we moved it in, and then our dogs took a bite out of the newest leaf and dragged it out. But thankfully, we've got a newer leaf coming out right there. And yeah, I think she's back on her way. This one is a Anthurium nympha something. I can't remember the name. I know it starts with nymph. And it is gorgeous. Check out this new leaf. Hello, so shiny and clean and bright. And there's a flower right there that hasn't bloomed yet, but very pretty. And then here we have a Philodendron Dean McDowell, which is a hybrid. Do you remember what kind of hybrid it is? I know it's Gloriosum by something. Pastasanum, I think. I'll put it on the screen just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And look at this! I am no longer a begonia killer. Check that out. Yeesh. And here's another one that has a fern attached to it, and all of its flowers are falling off because I'm messing with it. But yeah, so begonias are no longer my enemy. They love me. And over here is a Bobbsey, Philodendron Bobbsey. Oh yes! So this is a Medinilia right here. This is a Syngonium, gosh, white something. I can't remember off the top of my head. You check back down there. There's a Philodendron penduriform. And it's climbing up and the leaves are getting bigger. Right back here, next to it, is a Philodendron silver sword. Hoping the silver sword copies the penduriform and decides to put out bigger leaves. A secret plant that's hidden behind here is a variegated Monstera Peru. And it's teeny tiny, but the leaves are no longer burning. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. So I guess it's increased humidity is what it's looking for. Another Calathea fusion that hasn't decided what to do with itself. And here we finally moved the Monstera pinnati partita from the greenhouse to its own area. And that's that big, huge fan centerpiece of the plant box. It's been a rough ride. They dug it out of the ground. They realized that the roots were actually aerial roots that hit the ground. So it actually had stem rot from where it was originally planted. And they dug out as much root as they can. And, you know, we had a new leaf unfurl, but this is how tiny it is. It's just tiny. And we're waiting to see what happens with this. I see some yellowing in some places, but so far so good. It's been a month. It's been a month, and this is what we're dealing with, so I'm still okay with it. Down here, we have a mystery Epipremnum pinnatum right down here. And yeah, the leaves are chartreuse and green rather than yellow. It's just a light green, so it's a green on green Epipremnum pinnatum, but not neon. Right back here, we have one of those ground orchids. Oh yeah, and she bloomed. Check her out. So I know some people say that these guys will not grow in the Philippines. Oh, she's growing and she's flowering, and we've had her for about a month now. This is where she's been planted. I have some more begonias down here, a maidenhair fern from our greenhouse, because we have a whole bunch of those guys and they're like they're so invasive in the greenhouse. Over here we have a Philodendron 69686. I know there's a new name. Do you know what the new name is? I can't remember. I'll find it for you guys. I want to say it has something to do with Betty Waterburianum, right?
Waterbury.
Yeah, I'll find the proper name. That way we could give proper credit to this plant also. We have a philodendron tortum back here. And it's the more narrow type of tortum, as you'll see in just a little bit. If you back up, we finally planted the Manila's Pride. And it was not happy being replanted here. I mean, we got all sorts of messed up leaf. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Yeah, it was not happy being replanted, but there's inflorescence, so I guess that's something, right? Ooh, yeah, so if you're a fan of red, check these two out. Look at this begonia. How ridiculous is that? I've had that for a really long time now. It's probably the only begonia I have not killed. And behind it is a red selaginella. Yeah, so nice. And beside it is a peperomia. A silver peperomia that I got as a freebie from someone, and I can't remember who it is, but man, I love that thing so much. It's doubled in size since we planted it there. Love it. And you guys might remember this guy. This was the philodendron SP Columbia that sat behind me, or beside me, at the other background. So he's in the ground now, and he's got a new leaf coming out right there. Oh yeah. So gonna wait for him to show up. This poor guy. Oh man. So this guy had 2 leaves when we moved him over. It was not doing well at all. But since we moved him here, since we planted him here, he's gone nuts. He's absolutely happy. We have a watermelon peperomia back there. We have another begonia back here. That's from my friend JJ. We have a fern here. I can't remember the name, but he's a cool looking guy. And then I believe this is Cowardly Lion, the begonia right in front of it. And we have a Monstera adansonii. They call this monkey mask sometimes. It's also known as double window. So yeah, that's what that is. And this is our other philodendron tortum. So earlier I showed you a thinner, more narrow version, and this guy is absolutely thicker in terms of leaves. A syngonium that I've lost its name ever since we moved it. This other guy, this one right here, is a fern. This is Diliman. It's also a place in the Philippines where there's a university, and yep, that's where that name comes from. It's from this fern. We have a variegated anthurium. Don't recall who it is. We have a creeping plant, which I hope will take over this entire area because, you know, that's what we do. And over here we have a philodendron pedatum, the regular chunky size. Hi, welcome home. Welcome to my home. So what we got going on here is we have some plants. These are also creepers. They're called mani-mani-an here. And they've got these really cool yellow flowers, as you can see here. And what it does is it will take over. It will start creeping towards each other. I am probably going to have to split these guys up. These are ground orchids. And I like how they look, but I'm going to spread them out, split them up and spread them out on the bottom of this wall to cover up more of the stuff that I don't want seen. And these are the 2 monsteras that I repotted a few months ago. This is my Monstera albo that came from a tiny amount of variegation. That leaf isn't here anymore, but yeah, quite nicely variegated now. Alternates between green and variegation, green and variegation, green and variegation. This is the porch. If you come inside, this is the hangout spot. So sometimes our older son will come out and just hang out here, play on his Switch or on his iPad. And over here, if you turn around, this is my new filming area. And because variety is the spice of life, I like having different kinds of plants here in my background while I film. This is one of the racks that we had at the other place, and the plants that we did not put out in the plant box we went ahead and kept here. Davidsonii is still here, Patriciae is still here, Spiritus Sancti. This guy's new, Anthurium baluanum, very nice though. Ooh, has a really interesting leaf. Yeah, Check out that green on green stuff. Anyway, Monstera compacta. We have the Meloy. I don't know what this guy's doing with his life. 2 full moon variegations in a row. Yeah, we got issues. This area also serves as my plant rehab area. This is an Aglonema Manila's Pride, right? Do you remember? You sure? God, so we got it when it was still cheap, huh? But yeah, so it feels like he's rooted now. The reason he's here is because a rat actually dragged him out of his pot and ate his roots, or destroyed his roots, whatever. It's horrible. I hate that. This is the Pallidiflorum that gave me seeds recently. Ooh, speaking of Pallidiflorum that gave me seeds, check this out. Okay, don't mind the purple stuff. The purple stuff is from the variegated string of hearts on top, right? But if you look around, oh yeah, look at those guys. I don't know if this is it. This looks like a weed, but I'm not going to pull it out because, you know. But yeah, so the Pallidiflorum that I was just talking about. So rumor has it that Pallidiflorums actually self-pollinate, and I hope that's not the case because I hand pollinated it with something else, and that remains to be seen what that something else is. I'll give you a hint. It's that right over there. So yeah, these are my favorite plants of the moment. I love the hanging stuff, and I've never seen these guys bloom, so seeing this bloom right now is just a treat for me. And the birds right here in the back just tend to leave them alone. So I've got these beautiful vines, another begonia, Heterocraspidon right here, just putting out leaves like crazy, like a madman. Some more anthuriums. Ooh, check this guy out. Yeah, so he's struggling with the heat too, but he's not too bad. This is a eyelash fern, and if you remember my episode with Albert Howell Tang, yeah, this is what he had in one of his terrariums, those bio orb things. This is one of the Hoyas that I showed, my Hoya collection. Check it out. We are gonna have some flowers, guys. So the plants that I keep here in this area are plants that mostly make me happy. This is a cool thing that Paolo made. I had this frame and he just went ahead and put tillandsias in it. So this is my happy space, this area right here, because my greenhouse is a mess. Until I fix it, it's not going to be a happy space at all. We've got mosses that we're going to be using for one of our future episodes. In case you didn't notice, we have also terrariums. Yeah, it's going to be fun stuff. This is my friend Pao Pao's. So this is his Streptophila, and the only reason it's still here with me is because I haven't sent it yet. Ah, funny. Yes. And a whole bunch of stuff that I don't want you to see yet, so no close-ups here. Oh, yeah. So this is a climbing pandanus. Pandan is something that we use in cooking, and this is part of that family. And he climbs, unlike the other kind, which we have in my mother-in-law's garden. Check this guy out. So he got mad at me for a little bit and went back to juvenile leaves, right? Hurt my feelings. We weren't talking for a little bit, but look, he's now fenestrating again. So he must be happier back here. Here we've got a variegated sensation plant. Yeah, variegations come out slow, kind of like photographs where a Polaroid picture, same effect. It takes a while for the variegations to come out. And just in case you're wondering, yeah, these trees right here, these guys are actually planted into our porch. So we left an opening where we could put some water in, and yeah, we have 2 live trees growing in our porch because I didn't want to chop them down. I really like them. And come on in. Let's go inside. Asian household, you leave your slippers outside. And welcome to our home. It's a family of 4. So me, Paolo, and our 2 small boys. And this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1 kitchenette home. We decided early on that we didn't want too much to clean. You know, we wanted to minimize the space where we clean, because the boys, if you have so much space, they will like scatter all the toys everywhere, especially our older child. So this is what we came up with. And our little kitchenette over here. This is a fern that I got from my friend Ed's Far, and I featured this in the plant camp video, and I just had to get it. I don't know if you can even see it, but the fern is fuzzy everywhere. It's got this pubescence, and this is what this is. It's not supposed to be rubbed off, but people couldn't help themselves, and it got rubbed off before we picked it up. But yeah, it's a really gorgeous fern, and it's really happy because the moss is still growing on it. So whoever said ferns don't do well in summer, just don't have their ferns indoors. That's it. That's a secret there. We have another fern right up here. This is the Mount Kishakud, I think is what it's called. Our botanical print from Maxine Maniquez. Some botanical artwork from my friend Eliza. Yeah, I have a friend who's talented enough to make that kind of stuff. One of Paolo's sculptures with a tillandsia. Yeah, tillandsias are fun just because you don't need a lot of water or maintenance for those guys, and they could stay there forever, really. These plants have been here for a couple weeks now inside the house, and we bring them into the shower every other night to water and to let them enjoy the humidity and stuff. Right now inside the house it's only 45 degrees humidity, so yeah, not too much humidity, so they enjoy their humidity at night. Yeah, cool little fern. I don't know what it is. I need to get names for my ferns because I am enjoying all of them and I have no way to describe them. This guy right here, what would you guess it is? This is an orchid. Yeah, check that out. It's very, very pretty. And I had a Hoya Wayeti here, but when I brought this guy home, I said, he's the one who needs to be here. So Hoya lives outside now. This guy right here is our Philodendron callosum. It is a really gorgeous plant. We will need to repot it soon because the newest leaf is right down here, this area. But man, talk about, you know, enjoying life. It's got these beautifully pubescent petioles. Not so much pubescence in terms of the Philodendron squamiferum, but there's definitely stubble and you can feel it along. And it's just gorgeous. It's a happy plant. I want to show you my favorite part of the house. I mean, the house is my favorite period. I love everything. But this room, you know, when you need to escape from everything, especially two small children screaming your name, this is the place to go. And come along here. It's probably best in daylight. So, got my little Batman print on top of the toilet because gotta geek out properly. Hey baby, follow me to the shower. This is a PG-13 episode, so I want you in here and I want you facing the wall. Okay, I promise it's completely innocent. And let me just close the door, show you why. Turn around, please. Yeah. This is my favorite view in the entire house, this wall. So whether I'm on the toilet, minding my own business, coming out of the shower, I mean, this is definitely my favorite part. It is a wallpaper that I got from Etsy. And if you notice down here, it is also the same wallpaper because I had extra. And yeah, it was just a fantastic buy for me. I really enjoy the botanical print and the passiflora. If you guys remember the passion flower. I'm gonna have to turn on the light, so give me a second here. Check this out. It's not fake, I promise you. But the first time we got it, we absolutely thought it was fake. Man, it's having some issues. Like you see the curling right back here. This is the newest, these are the newest fronds. Some burning right here. But it is a magnificent plant. It is called a tiger fern. And I know that's not its actual name, but you know, that's the name that we were given, and we're still looking for the name, so I'm gonna have to find that for you guys. And hopefully remember to put it up someday. Oh yeah, how gorgeous is that? Come on, let's go outside. So, in case you didn't notice yet, we have plants everywhere. In this case, we went ahead and cut off a leaf of our Thaumatophyllum bipinnatifidum. This is my third take, and I'm just happy to get it done with. Yeah, so if you ever are in need of decorations and you don't have, you know, a lot of space or plants outdoors that you can bring inside like we do, go to a florist shop maybe and ask if they have any special leaves that could just stick in a vase and make look pretty, right? And here is the kids' room. So we don't have many plants in here. We had a couple for the celebration. They've got a little man on the moon theme going on, aerospace, planetary, yeah. So that's the theme of their room, and wanted to keep the theme with alien looking plants. This is a ripsalis right here and a spider plant. I will need to give them better containers, move this guy up a little bit more so that he's out of reach from the naughtiness that's down here. Of course, he has not tried to grab at the plants yet, our older child. He would rather make a mess of all the books, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, that's what all these pillows are here for, you know, just to lounge around and to read or play and enjoy. Because both boys don't sleep in their own room yet. They sleep in ours. Yeah, and that's where we're going next. After the living room. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering about the kitchen, it literally is just a kitchenette. We have the most basic materials here to cook. We have the bar outside if we need to cook anything. But mostly we still go to the main house to have meals because we share our meals with my mother-in-law, and we're still doing the family mealtime thing over there. I want our children to actually experience life with grandma around, with uncle around, and it's working out really well for us. Everybody's happy, including the two little ones. So over here, let's start from this wall. This is a Dischidia, I think it's pronounced Dischidia orienta, and it is here in the Philippines known as Manaog ka irog. So come down my beloved, right? Talking to a woman who's upstairs and asking her to come down to him. We have a whole bunch of the non-variegated versions climbing on trees here in the Philippines. You see them all over the place. You rarely see the variegated versions climbing on trees. And I mean, I think they're just as gorgeous trailing as they are climbing. Right next to us is the Streptophila, the partner Streptophila to my friend Paolo's Streptophila. Yeah. And over here, we have a happier Monstera albo, hopefully. I don't know how to make this guy happy. I've stopped the browning, but now I got the leaves wet and he's not happy with that. So I have to do bottom watering with this guy, I think, to just keep those leaves happy. Some more of Paolo's, plant sculptures. Good time. Fun times too. A nice thing to do with tillandsias is that you could stage them in any which way you want. Behind it is a piece of pyrography artwork by Ia Regulario. Here we go. So this is the Anthurium clarinervium that was sold to me as a hybrid, and which we are looking at as the King Clary. I'll show you my regular Clary. I'll put the side-by-side up of that so you can see what I'm talking about. The King Clary is mostly identified by the additional veining in the middle, which you see very, very prominently in these leaves. Does really well indoors. Over here, check this out. Look at it. So this is kokedama. Kokedama is a Japanese art form, and I don't know how to explain it specifically, so I'll explain my own words. What you do is you have media in here, and you wrap it with moss, and you also wrap it with fishing wire. You know, you don't want that wire to be very, very obvious. In fact, you can barely see it here. They work. This is a fern, and this is what it really looks like. There aren't any missing leaves here. This is how the fern looks like. So what you do with these guys is you water them, and then you leave them to dry on your sink or in your shower. And not, when I say dry, I don't mean like paper dry, bone dry, okay? I mean no longer leaking. So this right now is still moist. It's still moist to the touch, but I'm not gonna risk damaging my entertainment center. Here's another fern, a bigger form of kokedama. And let me pull that out for you. Check that guy out. Yeah, very, very pretty. So along with that theme, we decided to go ahead and use a piece of broken pottery just because it seems to highlight it better, gives it more of that rustic look. Now this fern is pretty interesting. See these guys right here? New ferns! Yeah, check that out. So those are all new ferns waiting to happen. But I like the decorative look of it all, so we leave it as is. We got this from Ate Wendy Regalado at the last plant camp in March. Really, really gorgeous. And you guys probably know this Abby guy. This is the plant with abs, Anthurium veitchii. Really good looking plant. Doing really well inside the house, surprisingly. I did not expect that. And then over here is another fern. I really need to get our fern names down, but how nice is this? So what I noticed is the ferns do well inside. When you actually get the watering schedule down, these guys will do really well indoors. Of course, the humidity is now a problem for us here. And we don't keep the air conditioning on all day just so that we could increase the humidity other parts of the day, but my goodness, it gets so hot when we don't turn on the AC. And this is where everybody sleeps, but not too many plants. I'll just show you just for the heck of it. Over here, we have Gueldiae. I believe it's under Thaumatophyllum now, but yeah, such a gorgeous guy. And I couldn't make myself cut the ferns because I really do like them. So yeah, we've got ferns here as well. And the final plant in all of this is actually right behind Paolo. My favorite plant, I think. And it's this guy. And he's just now throwing out fenestrations, so I don't think I could keep him in here for much longer. This is a variegated Rhaphidophora Carthalsii. And my issue with it is, not anything physical by any means. My issue is I can't keep it indoors anymore. I do want the, sorry, don't mind me. I do want the fenestrations to continue because it's a sign of it maturing. I mean, look at the lower leaves. No fenestrations, right? So now that it's fenestrating, I need to plant this summer outdoors, I think, and let it climb to encourage more fenestrations. But it's gorgeous. It's got this beautiful green and cream variegation. It's not white by any means. Very, very minty in appearance. No strong sectoral variegations at all. I mean, maybe this, but even that has mint in it too. So yeah, and then another piece of flora and fauna artwork by Ia Regulario. And you know, my little signboard, which my son decided to steal letters from, but that's okay. You know, I'm sure Biggie understands. So I've got a little terrarium over there, little terrarium over here with some isopods. I got stuff coming up. As you can see here, got our another little air plant, and that is it for our houseplant tour. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so that you get notified of my future content. If you miss me during the week and you must see what I'm up to, please visit me on Facebook. I'm there as Tasteful Notes. And finally, if you just want to look at pretty pictures or videos right before you head off to sleep, check me out on Instagram. I'm there as Tasteful Notes as well. Okay guys, until next time, sa uulitin, keep your notes classy and tasteful. Bye.